successful with Gyro, albeit
Nice.
he's kind of out of the meta right now. They pick up the Rogue Knight.
I would shake Sven's hand right now. This is awesome. This is a hero that can add to the push with Warcry, but still can scale really late. They don't necessarily have the setup for the AoE, but the cool thing is, even if Team Empire aren't clumping up, then Witch Doctor and maybe a right-click build from the Furying can just exploit the heroes that are all by themselves. So you have a couple of heroes that can single people down, and then you have the Sven and the Jakiro when they clump up to really dish out that massive AoE damage. So column A, column B, it doesn't matter. They're going to be able to make a pretty big impact. And in general, this hero is not going to be kited all that much when the Stampede's not up. When the Stampede's up, he's going to be nearly useless. But if he maybe picks up a Blink and is able to get over the Fisher, then he should still be able to stay on target very effectively. And obviously, they have a lot of good slows and stuns. So good all-around hero, can go late, and certainly can contribute for the early push.
Yes, sir. Well, should be interesting. A couple of fun heroes that we don't get to see all too often. So at the very least, it'll be interesting on that front. Resolution Tinker, that is that really scary combo we've seen in StarLadder so far, where Resolution has just been out of control. Of course, Alliance will probably have some tricks up their sleeves to make sure he doesn't totally ball out of control, but we have seen a lot of Empire's earlier games in this group stage get pretty ridiculous as Resolution grabs momentum very early on, and they tend to, maybe not a 4 protect one, that's a bit strong, but they tend to assist that mid lane quite a bit, stack up for the Tinker, and make sure he has everything he needs to have early BOTs and get that snowball rolling. Dire will start off with an Observer Ward in the Radiant jungle, but Ake standing nearby does get pinged out, and they may try and sentry this down. Looking at, is that, oh, Misery on the
30 seconds to
They
show.
swapped it out. Jakiro is now played by Loda. This was not how they picked it up originally, but about 10 seconds into the game they swapped it out. And yeah, Stout Shield and Clarity, so it's a little hard to say if he's going to be full farm priority or a temporary asset. In either case, for now he has only 1 stun available with his current level of stats, but 1 stun might just be enough for them to get a first blood and for him to start snowballing pretty far forward with early boots of speed.
And they're off.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of this. I'm kind of curious how the lanes will exactly settle down, but Alliance will pull some player role swaps as well. Will be Chessie in the bottom lane on the position 1 Razor. He has been tending to play mid. It'll be the Bulldog headed solo mid on the Nature's Prophet. He is starting off with a null tally of all things, so there you go. Aggro try for Alliance. Ake on the support Witch Doctor. It will be Misery on the Sven and Loda on the Jakiro. I still think it'll be a farming Sven in the position 1. They're just switching it up with Loda playing support and Misery, the farmer. We'll see. Maybe it will be a position 1 Jakiro. Time will tell as we move into the lane. Based on the rotations, I guess it is Loda that will be sticking true to his cause and racking up the last hits here. They're getting aggressive, looking for a potential first blood on to Always Want to Fly. They do put down a Radiant Observer here to block the pull camp, and they'll head back to the lane and pressure silent. But there you go. It's Loda farming away. Interesting stuff from Alliance here, Blaze.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility for Loda just going to be going straight for like a Basilius mech rush and try to go for that really early push momentum. Obviously, the Sven and Witch Doctor have their own levels of kill potential, but they really have to have some major intentions with the first item or 2 from Jakiro in this case. I mean, we see often a Veil of Discord is picked up on the hero, but not in this game. There's very little magic damage that synergizes. There's plenty from each hero, but it's not enough to say, I need the number 1 position Veil of Discord rush. So in this position, maybe he goes for a Mechanism 4-staff Bassi build, and they just go for really push emphasis, but I'm not too certain, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely not what we would have predicted, that's for damn sure. On the Dire sides, Empire doing things a little bit more straightforward. Han Solo here on the support, Earthshaker, Always Want to Fly on the Visage, and of course Silent on his Gyrocopter. Resolution headed to the mid on the Tinker, and in the off lane, that is Mag playing on old Centaur, galloping around against the Razor. So Empire definitely doing things in a much more straightforward fashion. What are your thoughts overall about the support Sven? I like him in the position 1. He can certainly scale well, but it seems more often than not the position 4/position 5 Sven he struggles. It's Strug City. Oh, Loda almost caught inside the fissure. Probably would have been a first blood there, but will just barely end up on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen this as a reliable hero role since 2011. Sven Lena Rome was really popular in TI1, but It's been a long time since then. There have been a lot of heroes introduced, and I don't see exactly what he brings that they don't. Like, if you have an alchemist in his place, for example, you still get a lot of, oh, nice Fisher.
Yeah, blocks out Ake. Ice Path will connect onto Silent. Ake is isolated, but they eat the trees and they make a path for him. Though Mystery will path block him as he says, hey, let's get aggressive here, guys. I think we might be able to kill something. They will think about it. Loda, only level 2 right now. Ice Path and Liquid Fire on him. The jungle, Ice Path connects on the
nice
fly. Another beautiful fissure separates them apart. Loda will go down for the Visage. Ake and Misery will have to walk around the fissure. But in comes Bulldog. They'll find Always Want to Fly, and this could be your first blood, but who's going to get it? Bulldog getting low. He does draw the first blood onto the Visage. He survives for now. Solo coming in, looking for the kill. Will find it, but it may cost him his life. And one more auto attack from the Jakiro. He moves into Fog, eats a tree. Oh no, Solo, he doubles back. I think he was going to fall anyhow, but that makes it an easy kill for Alliance, and they will get the first blood. And whoops, sorry about that. Get the first blood, and it ends as a 2-for-1 exchange.
Here's where he loses his clarity to a wandering Centaur creep, but I'm sure Ake will help him out in just a moment here. Really mana-reliant early game is Sven, because, as I mentioned, he only has 1 stun, 140 mana cost, and his base pool right now is 208 at level 3, so it's a little awkward for him. I don't know if he's going to go for that Soul Ring build to make sure that he could spam it, or he's just going to build up int treads and use that whenever he's casting, kind of toggle that. Either way, it's a nice tear on the fact that, like I said, Warcry is a great pushing tool. A lot of people don't look at it that way, but you give a huge boost of armor to all the creeps, all the heroes nearby, and nice movement speed to initiate as well. So it's interesting, it's dynamic, and I like to see things that are a little bit new. We do see Chessie down on Mag. He's trying to finish everything off, but 5 seconds from that plasma field, looks like he's not going to try to commit underneath. I actually think he might have been able to just bottle, move forward, and under the tower get the plasma field kill, but more interesting stuff is happening in mid, less theoretical and more death.
Yeah, but Bulldog and Mystery doing what they can. I don't know if they'll secure the kill here. Mag rotating over the plasma field for a double kill. Oh, Chessie with the great rotation will make it an easy set of kills. It looked like Empire may be able to get away by the skin of their teeth there, as Resolution was kiting all over the place.
Oh, no.
Up top, Ake, he'll get completely isolated in. Rocket Barrage makes that another easy kill for Empire. So 2-4 now as we approach the 5-minute mark. Already quite a bit of action, but Alliance are reaping the benefits with a pretty decent experience and gold lead.
I have no idea why you make that movement as a solo witch doctor all up there on your own, but I guess he was trying to leech experience from neutral pulls, and in the end he does take a tumble. So a little bit of gold going the way of Empire, but they need momentum on this gyro. He wants movement speed. They want to pursue right onto Loaded. Tanking, but is it enough? No. The Soul Assumption.
Yeah, Soul Assumption there with plenty of follow-up damage, and that will get Empire one step closer to leveling out that kill score as they finish off the position 1 Jakiro. Looking at Resolution in the mid lane, he picks up his Soul Ring recipe now, and that kill will slow him down quite a bit. Grabs an early point in rearm, and is going for the March Machine build. So, not the fastest start for Resolution, but still doing okay with 20 CS under his belt. Up top, we'll see more initiation. Misery goes in with the Stormbolt onto Silent. Bulldog ultimate flying through, he'll TP up, and that'll secure the kill onto the gyro. Now, Always Want to Fly stuck inside the Sprout. He will be isolated, and they will dive this tower with the sustain from Ake. Well, actually, it's just Bulldog and Loda diving the tower. They walk right into Solo. He takes the totem stun. Now an Ice Path connects. Maybe Solo will be in some trouble here. He certainly will. He gets off another set of stuns. Always Want to Fly comes in with the nuke, but not enough damage for the kill. They lose their Earthshaker. Mag coming in with the double edge to finish off Bulldog, but there's an Ice Path to take down the Visage. Now it's Mag versus the world. It's Silent. TP is the tier 2. The Stampede has been used to get Silent into the fray that much more quickly. Another double edge out onto Ake. It's chaos here in the top lane, and a fairly even exchange at that. Silent can barely juice the Ice Path call down, and a fissure. It's a double kill for Silent. Down goes Sven, and down goes Jakiro, and that's enough to tip the scales as Empire come out ahead in that one.
Yeah, and Razor's really not able to do that much in the bottom tower in the meantime. Like, he didn't rotate up, obviously, but Bulldog's going to try to help him out with this. It's 3 points of Nature's Call. They've got... but still something actually, but in either case, they really want this tower. If they don't get this tower in exchange for the losses they suffered on top lane, then they are going to be pulling very far behind. I mean, the Tinker, as you mentioned, had a slow start, but the Soul Ring, the space that was created for him, he's able to kind of build up in a couple more stacks, and that'll be his BOTs.
Yep, it looks like this bottom tower will be defended by Mag, the level 8 Centaur, but only so much he can do against these 3 heroes. No other heroes will rotate, and it will be a fallen tower, so at least Alliance finds something out of that space was created. Ake will hold the mid lane. and get a little bit of experience under his belt moving towards level 6, and of course that death ward on old Witch Doctor there. Solo is almost level 5, so he's doing alright on this Earth Shaker for now, but Razor is still topping the charts in terms of farm. Chessie has had a lot of space while they've been skirmishing up top, and he is still that last hit leader. Mag here about a third of the way to the Blink Dagger, so still pretty decent for him. 2-1-1 and has found 16 last hits. All things considered, the Centaurs have a pretty good time, and I think he will be crucial for some of these mid-game tempo controls while that Tinker is still trying to come online. Direside has not had any opportunity to stack the Ancients, so Resolution won't have that big fatty Ancient stack to rely on to make up for some of his lost farm, but he's doing a good job in the jungle. Triple stack here in the big camp, and he's been stacking up the medium camp here and farming very effectively. Already 800 gold on the way to his BOT recipe.
There was an attempt at dropping down a nice little lane ward for Chessie to keep farming aggressively, but there was a sentry already in place. They were able to take that off the field, easy 50 gold for Mag there. There is a haste room bottled up for the Razor, but at the same time the Stampede's still up for Empire, so they should be able to kind of control the engagements just as effectively. So nice push coming in the mid lane, Loda with 2 points in Liquid Fire, but it's going to be Chessie to dive deep and push Solo back, trying to prevent the Fisher counter push.
Yep, and meanwhile on the top lane, always want to fly and Silent are pressuring this tier 2. TP into the tier 2 tower from Resolution. As the tier 1 does burn down from the Liquid Fire, Alliance will not overcommit for the push. Rebels on top to make defense. Bulldog TP's in, catches Silent inside of a Sprout. A lot of damage to follow up. The call down connects, but it just doesn't matter. Gyro falls, and maybe always want to fly. He'll try to TP home, and he'll be successful in his plight. A 1-for-0 trade, and Alliance will keep their top tier 1 tower today.
Yeah, they're going to take the stack though. This is a pretty big stack, and it's going to be a lot of gold going the way of Alliance. It looks like Solo wants to go to last hit few of these with a Fisher, but there's the Macro Fire. Plasma Field's there, but not available yet. So a little bit of back and forth with that, but they're just going to turn their attention to the top tier 1, and we'll see if that's what they can lay claim to.
Resolution still having a lot of space in the jungle here, stacking, culling, killing, and using this beautiful positioning here from the Tinker. And as long as they can just keep delaying and minimize their losses, he will have a decent BOT timing. They'll do just that as Solo comes around the backside, takes the stun from Misery. He's Fisher to buy himself some time, but he is in some trouble. Stuck in the Sprout, max damage Plasma Field, and Chessie will get another kill here up on the scoreboard. That makes it 9-7, just shy of the 10-minute mark, as Alliance do continue to gain some momentum. Call down will be used here to clear up this free flame a little bit and do some damage to those Bulldog Treants, but Ake is right there with the sustain. 2 points in that Voodoo Restoration, helping him heal out just fine. Misery still trying to be sneaky around the backside, but low on mana, does not have enough for a Storm Bolt, or a Storm Hammer, if you will. But Empire doing a good job just buying their time right now, or biding their time rather. Power, getting into deny range, and they might be able to secure a deny here, as it is quite low.
We're seeing the timing of where this lineup wants to strike, but will they actually be able to get the last hit now? Silent will deny the tower, and then he will fall with that stun connecting from Misery. So Stampede came through, Mag doesn't really get to use it offensively, everybody just in retreat, but the Sprout on always want to fly and go down as well. So again, this is the timing that they want to go for, with 3 points in Liquid Fire, with the War Cry, and with the Witch Doctor's Voodoo Restoration. This is exactly when they just need to start taking towers, and unfortunately they don't get the first one, but maybe this tier 2 we'll see it pressured pretty hard, but obviously Empire able to defend it.
Yeah, the lift comes out. It is just Solo by himself, but Blink Dagger now picked up on the Centaur. Right around the 11-minute mark, not too shabby. A stray Macro Pyre will fly through. Won't do much as Bulldog gets hit by a fissure, and that'll be enough for Alliance to sound the retreat, and they will head back to safety. BOT is now up on the Tinker, so he can start to come online a little bit, putting points in the heat-seeking missiles, and he's starting to get rather scary. That on top of the Blink Centaur means Empire are actually sort of in fighting form now. Silent does have Phase Boots Akira and probably moving towards Strong Endurance, has that first bracer up, so he has some nice early fighting items here as well. Smoke from the line, so going on the always on the fly should be a pretty easy kill on the Wizards there. Yep, they'll bring him down, and now maybe they'll press into this tower. Empire will need to make a move to defend though.
Yeah, they've got 2 Arcane Boots, so plenty of heal coming in from Ake, but the big deal here is Mag has his Blink Dagger. He's smoked up. This is where things happen. Misery actually breaks through the smoke, so it's difficult to engage, but 6 seconds, they've got Stampede. They'll start on Misery. Great first damage, but he's all by himself.
Yep, even with the Stampede coming up, having just in time, a nice Fissure comes out, but the ultimate from Bulldog bounces around and will finish him off. Rockets from the Tinker flying through, but so far Ake is doing so much sustain, the Razor can't handle it, or pardon me, the Visage can't handle the Razor, and it will be another 2-0 trade. A lot of damage coming out onto Alliance, but they just can't bring anyone down. Fissure flies through, and basically off the mark. Now Silent takes another Stormbolt to the face, and he will be pushed back for now. Empire do hold their tower, but it doesn't come for free as they concede a couple of deaths.
Yeah, the Visage right there was like really pinned down and tried to use the Soul Assumption onto Bulldog, but couldn't get it off for some reason. Like, he was in range as far as I could tell and had vision, but in that timing, he was not able to get the return kill, and therefore they only had 7 kills on the table. When you're not at least trading 1-for-1 with a Visage, there's a lot of problems. So there's a lot of damage flying about, but they're not able to make the full use of it, and it's going to be slow going for this Gyrocopter in particular to build up. Like, he needs a BKB to survive against most of the chain stuns of Alliance, but right now he can barely afford the drums. He's still working his way there.
Yep, sorry, I'm tending to a mod issue here very quickly, but right back in it. So yeah, I mean, Alliance are doing okay now. They've got about a 4,000 gold lead. Experience graph is zeroed out. I feel like Empire are actually doing a good job holding this. It doesn't feel like it since they have to keep conceding hero deaths to defend these towers, but at the end of the day, Alliance has only killed 2 towers in 14 minutes, and given how scary the pushing potential of their team is, I think Empire are hanging in there pretty well since they're already with 2,100 gold. He'll have a Blink Dagger coming up in a jiff.
Yeah. Still, the mid-game dominance of Alliance won't be limited to like the first 15 minutes like a lot of push lineups are. With this Sven, they can mitigate so much damage from the Gyrocopter and the Swag Cannon that they can just keep this push up for another 20 minutes unless Resolution really comes online. They're going to see Big Stomp come out from that.
Forward to Stampede, connects on a few with the stun, but a big Ice Path from Loda. Isolates 3, still too small from Alliance to get things started. Down goes the Prophet. It's a great hold from Empire. Pardon me, the Prophet gets a kill on the Earthshaker. I think the Alliance names are too long. Looking for a loop here, Blaze. Bag presses forward, though, looking for the kill on Loda. Will bite off more than he can chew, and it will cost him his life. It's a 2-for-2 exchange for now, but Silent looks like he won't survive too much longer. Turns, tries to drop the hammer on Chessie. As the Tinker BOT next, buys him some time, and Resolution finds the turnaround kill. That makes it a 3-for-3 now as Loda from the high ground, Ice Path, as well as the Macro Fire. Does some damage to Resolution, but not even close to bringing him down. And Alliance will continue to throw resources towards this mid lane. As they're respawning, TP's forward. They really want to commit to this tower and at least find something to tip the scales and stop this from just being an even exchange and even a victory for Empire as their tower is still standing. They will get a familiar kill there. They push into the tower. This time it does go down, and it's Witch Doctor that gets the last hit.
Yeah, now that the Blink is up on this Tinker, he's going to be so much more of a nuisance. Blinking into trees, like I said, there's a couple ways to deal with it, but they're not always going to have the knowledge of his exact positioning or the ability to actually pin him down. So here, the Tinker becomes a real menace, and Alliance has to step up their game. Even still, I like the lineup in general. The fact that they lived through all that damage, that amazing mag stomp, for the most part they only lost a few heroes there, it just shows how innately strong this lineup is at sustaining through fights. If you can do that without a mechanism, imagine what you can do once Loda finishes it.
Yeah, that's certainly a fair point. Top lane, Mag in some trouble here. Will pop his Stampede, but takes a stun from Misery right away. Eating his way to the trees and just trying to shoot long enough to get that Blink Dagger off cooldown. The Loda right there with an Ice Path, and that will be enough to bring him down. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, they do find a kill onto Chessie as Empire converge on him, and it's essentially a 1-for-1 across the map. Centaur for Razor, and it looks like neither team will be able to grab an objective. At least not quite yet. Ake is all alone down here and could get sandwiched upon if they scout him out. Top tier 2 tower taking some damage. Glyph flies through. It looks like Empire will ultimately just let it fall as Macro Pirate does a creep wave, and tower goes down. The last hit goes to Mr. Bulldog. TP down bottom. They find only one fly. Looking to TP out. Not happy. Gets interrupted by the stun from Sven, but now comes into Tinker and Silent as well. They lose their Visage, and with that, they will just opt to retreat.
Yep, so they do commit the death ward there, but that's not that big of a deal. Relatively short cooldown, and like we said, he's got a lot of mana to sustain with, so they're still going to keep their offensive momentum up, but where do they strike next? We've got a tier 2 at nearly full HP on the mid and bottom, and they do want to control Roche better. Let Sprout come out onto solo. Don't think he should chase this, though, as Mag is just about to hit it.
Oh, yeah, Bulldog's going to get taken down here, and even Loda, not completely safe, throws out a dual breath, creates a little bit of space for his buddies. There's a rotation coming over from Mr. Misery, and he may get isolated here. They ping him out, and there is not too much support inbound. Double damage rune is down bottom. Alliance will be able to pick it up, and maybe they can use that to try and turn this fight around. Fissure flies through just barely off the mark as, yep, Sven survives.
Yeah. Loda's still holding on to his gold here. I guess he's just going to wait for the courier to come back. And yeah, now that as soon as the arcane boots make their way out to the front lines, now they have to send the courier all the way back to get their mechanism, which would be huge in this pickoff, but instead Mag just blinks away, their smoke breaks, they don't have a mech, they can't just walk into Roche, so yeah, they're at a little bit of a loss as to what to do here. They have to kind of go back to the lanes, push the creep waves out, and make sure that mech is put to full use. Actually, Bulldog could have even maybe ferried out the mechanism recipe, but they're just going to let the courier do the dirty work here, and it will take a little bit of time to make its way to the front lines.
Yeah, and Bulldog is farming very impressively here. No Hand of Midas on him, but he already has Blink Maelstrom and working on an Orchid with that Oblivion stuff. Number 1 on net worth, actually staying above the likes of the Tinker, which is just damn impressive. Level 1 Dagon is up on the Tinker now, though, and his farm is not looking too shabby either. As we'll see Empire group up to defend this bottom tier 2 tower, and as soon as Alliance catches wind of Empire making a hold, they will just retreat. They rendezvous with the courier, as you were talking about. And now they are in slightly better fighting form. Empire do not have a mech of their own. They don't seem interested in one. Nobody building towards it. And well, that does put them at a small team fight disadvantage here. Silent looks like he will just be working straight towards a BKB. This is a pretty common build we see out of Silent. The phase boots, Aquila drum, magic wand opener, then just into the BKB so he can survive through the mid game.
Yeah, that's where he really needs to be at right now. Unfortunately, he's a little bit behind schedule, but he'll get there pretty quickly if they don't put some real pressure on him. As far as smokes go from the side of Alliance, right now they've broken all of theirs, and there are 2 on the courier. Okay, so not on the shop, but 2 coming out on the courier, and they need to make the most use of those to keep pinning down the Tinker as well as the Gyrocopter. Tinker picks up Dagon 1, has a lot of kill potential even with that alone, and obviously the Gyrocopter is the one they have to limit when it comes down to the late game. So right now Silent is farming up everything in the jungle, still has pretty good control over that, and that's based on some great observer wards placed out by Empire.
Yep, that is true. Momentum is slowing down here though, and that is not good news for Alliance. Just glancing at the graphs, their lead is kind of plateaued at about 5,000 gold, and I guess that sounds okay, but they have a pretty big tower advantage right now. They've taken down 4 towers, and Empire have only managed to kill 1. So as soon as Empire take a good team fight and knock down these money bags, aka the tier 1 towers with pretty low HP still standing, that gold graph will level out, and Empire are starting to find better farm around the map. About 2,000 experience in their favor, and I think that tells the state of this game maybe a little bit more clearly. Pardon me?
Bulldog's baiting in mid. They're going to try to jump on him, but maybe they'll get the jump first. Solo with a nice Fissure to disengage, and the Stampede will come out in time. That would have been really good if they had gone on Bulldog, but the other way around.
Yep, Bulldog TP's in on the bag, but he will be able to go back to safety. Solo, not quite so lucky. Stuck in the Sprout, taking a lot of damage from the Eye of the Storm. Chessie will find a kill right there, but pretty minimal losses for Empire. Just a straight support at this stage in the game is not going to make it or break it. Maybe Alliance can turn this into a push. They are grouping up in the mid, and will start to look towards this tier 2 tower. But Empire moving in to make a defense, and the real pressure down bottom. Silent forces issue, looking to stun from Misery. Bulldog moving back in, Chessie as well, but Mag is right there. They'll drop the Bulldog. Link onto Silent. He will just move into the trees, the TP home. Mag will do the same, and beautifully done by Empire. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense.
Absolutely, and the familiar movement here is really on point, so they can just use BOTs to control those aggressive positions you wouldn't expect, and obviously just getting that sneak play there. So very well done. Puts them 2 BKB on Silent. He's able to, on the back of that, just get to his last little bit, and that's going to be huge. They can even consider Roshan at this point because they do have the March kind of on the high ground, and they do have enough durability on the Gyrocopter now. But we'll see if that's on their minds. Right now an Illusion Rune has spawned, the BKB is here, and it looks like they might just push tier 1 instead.
Yes, indeed. And again, glancing at the graphs, it's still starting to topple in favor of Empire, and I feel like Alliance need to do something here. They need to take a good team fight, a smoke rotation, find some objectives. They're just losing momentum right now. And with this kind of a snowballing lineup, that is never a good sign. Bulldog down bottom will almost get initiated upon, but blinks back to safety, utilizing that blink dagger, nature's prophet, to the fullest extent of its glory. Up top, Resolution will come to the defense of the tier 3 tower as Chessie does start to press forward, working on either a working on a BKB, and now completed as it gets delivered via the courier. Thought that might be the beginnings of an egg scepter, but Chessie going for a little more than standard, wants to survive to lay in those right clicks. Alliance will group up in the mid lane, 4 points in the liquid fire, and this tower will basically melt under the pressure, and it will go down pretty quickly. Empire have a Glyph available, as do the Radiant. Silent down bottom will be able to finish off that tower before TPing home. And Empire, I think, just looking for a time here. They don't really want to take a fight. Will be unsuccessful in that play. Silent gets the bottom tier 1, and Bulldog will secure the last hit on the tier 2 mid. That will take the total tower count now 5-2 in favor of Alliance, but Empire now breaking down some of these money bags. We see a mini-map drawn by Alliance, and it looks like they will move through and try to take a fight in their jungle if Empire hang around.
Loda just needs a lot more farm, a lot more quickly. Right now he's working on a Pipe of Insight, and they absolutely need that to break high ground against the Marks machines, but it's going to take a little bit of time. If they mess up one fight, it'll just delay the pipe further, and soon enough, tier 3 is just going to be impossible to assail. Tinker is just getting really farmed really fast. He's very active across the map, and we've seen what Resolution can do in these situations. Just lasers everywhere, the marches to defend, and really no way to control him with their current draft.
Yeah, Mystery does have a lot of goals saved up, but they'll get hopped on right now. Mag hops forward, Silent with the call down, and Sven falls before the fight even starts. Resolution comes in, there is support. The Centaur Resolution gets silenced, and he will fall. It is a 1-for-2 as the Centaur does make, or pardon me, as the Gyrocopter does make it out of the BKB. But Alliance with
mid-towers
nicely done as they find a better exchange.
Yeah, a little bit accidental, but it definitely works out, and especially that BKB cooldown is probably the hugest aspect of that. Really good combo. Even if he gets out, it still hurts him, and they're actually looking to pick off a couple of familiars too. Both of them will fall to Bulldog, plus 200 gold in the bank, and that's resummons in about 30 seconds time, so even when Tinker respawns, he won't be able to I don't know, spread across the map as rapidly. Not really taking an objective on the back of those 2 kills. They're just kind of going back to farming, and I'm trying to figure out if they're ever going to be able to go into Roche, or if they're really just going to be hard farming that Pipe of Insight to finish it off. Hood is up, but still about 1,300 gold until he's actually able to finish up the item itself.
Yeah, and I mean, breaking high ground is certainly important in the context of Alliance, but even just taking a straight-up 5v5 fight, I feel like the Pipe is really going to be an instrumental piece to that puzzle. We haven't really seen a full-on 5v5 clash, at least not since we moved into the mid-game here. It's mostly been these little 3v1s or 2v1 little skirmishes around the map and pickoffs here and there. But these huge 5v5 fights, so much magic damage on the side of Empire between the Gyro, the Tinker, and basically everyone on that dire side has some sort of a big bit of magic damage they can put out. So we'll see if the Pipe actually can be, or is the item that will turn the tides in favor of Alliance. There's now a Blink Dagger up on Solo, so the Earthshaker is a little bit more scary now, and of course is level 11, so the Slam Dunk hurts that much more and makes the Pipe that much more crucial. Even Silent now working on probably an
no, Bulldog.
Oh no, that's that's just unfortunate. That's some bad luck right there. They were smoked up, no way to know that the team was rotating into the jungle, but that will be probably the easiest kill Empire will find all game.
Yeah, that was the worst TP you can possibly get, and I mean it makes sense for him to go there, but everybody off the map, it's very unfortunate that that just happened to be where he wandered. Now they get some good aggressive wards up. Roche has to be a key objective from both sides of this stage. Like, if either one of them can take it, they can guarantee either the ability to break the high ground or the ability to guarantee defense of it and drag this game out at least 6 more minutes. So really important. We're going to see the smoke come through from Alliance. Maybe they'll get a pick off into a Roche, but they need the initiation first, and that's not really coming.
Yeah, they do ping out Solo, but again, he has that Blink Dagger, hopefully finger on the trigger. And if they break the smoke, he should be able to hop out back to safety. Loda does get scouted out by the familiar. Silent pops his BKB and says, I'm out of here, guys. And run for it. And Empire will make the escape. Quick reactions from Silent, but he does survive. Unfortunately, that's another BKB charge. It's now down to 8 seconds, and he hasn't really done anything with it other than not die.
Yeah, that's true. Both of them were just for TPs alone, and this is a very, very important tool for him to actually stay through the entire fight. I guess they do have a lot of disables behind them with the couple of stone form stuns as well as the hook stomp and the Fisher, but my goodness, this team have to be in point in creating space. Ake gonna go down a little bit too far on the front line. The initiation from Misery tries to turn it.
Yep, pops his ulti, BKB out on Misery, but Solo with a 4-step to the low ground. That'll keep him alive. BKB popped by Chessie as well, looking to finish off Resolution, but he'll move through the tree. He gets caught inside of an ice path, but surviving for now. Sits Fissure to help shut things down, and Gyro will find the kill on Suspend. They also bring down Bulldog as Resolution drops the hammer. Looking bad for Alliance here as they will lose their entire team. Low to the last survivor, but he will fall. It's a 2-for-5 trade. Sure, they finish off the Tinker, but certainly bad news for our Radiant side, and this area here proved to be the death of him. The beautiful force down to the low ground kept Silent alive, kept Solo alive just barely, and that actually allowed the Tinker to buy some time as well as he juked her. Not the initiation that Alliance wanted.
Alliance were so spread out in that fight. There was one machines and gyrocopter just to get the last hit on a Visage. There were people just left and right not knowing exactly who to focus, and there seems to be a little bit of a lack of general focus on the side of Alliance. Like the coordination that a captain would usually bring. S4 obviously used to be their captain and no longer is on the team, so I feel like that might be what they're lacking, is just a general point of emphasis where they get to say, okay, this is what we need to do, this is where we need to go, and this is who we need to kill immediately, because right now they seem in disarray.
Yeah, and it was sort of just an odd fight the way it started. Well, Octane was already dead, so they started off, then Misery charged in, popped his BKB and stunned, and fights where it seemed like Alliance didn't really want to take it, but they felt that they were committed, and once they started fighting, retreat would have just been even worse than trying to take a fight and take some kills, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like they should have just cut their losses and run for the hills. At the very least, just sacrifice Misery and just a position for Sven, and instead results in a team wipe. And as you talked about, delays the pipe that much more. Loda will complete it now. So actually, well, he's still one piece off. Needs that last ring of regen, but basically has the pop, not helping the timing.
Not at all. I mean, 30 minutes to give him Mechanism and Pipe by maybe 20-25 minutes. So its entire point is to rush it out. And that would enable Shetty on the front line, the Sven, to really stand and duel. But in this case, they aren't really fighting all as a single unit, and I mean, it just feels a little bit off. So it's going to be on Empire to just find one more pickoff with this Dagon Ethereal Blade, and then wait another minute because the death timer, and they can't go 4-man up into Roche or High Ground. So it just, we see this trend starting now where Alliance are going to have harder and harder times getting all together and just making things work for them.
Yeah, and as always, that good rule of thumb is when the pushing strats tend to fall off and the carries really start to kick in is right around that 30-minute mark, which we're about to ding. And Silent now has his MKB complete. He's hitting pretty hard. That flat cannon will be scary in this team fight as long as he can survive to get a couple of auto attacks off. Also did not use his BKB in that last fight. So it is still at that 8-second charge, which is kind of a big deal for him. And also Tinker, he's getting close to that critical mass. He's only at level 2 Dagon right now, but we saw the Ethereal Blade come out, and in that last fight, he was doing a lot of damage, dropping hammers left and right.
Carry on.
And I'm starting to worry for Alliance. I feel like it's almost in the hands of Empire to throw at this point. May quite, but Gold lead is completely zeroed out. All of that early tower edge that Alliance had is dissipated, and Empire holding on to almost a 10,000 experience lead now. Roche still standing, uncontested by both sides, but as we brought up a few times now, will be an option, certainly for Empire and maybe for Alliance if they can find a pick-off or two.
In the meantime, Always Wanna Fly is going to be farming up while everybody else is spread out otherwise. If they can just kind of fall back and farm. Do need to get a few more, I guarantee that. Right now it's in stock and available, but nobody's picking them up, and there's only one with about 1 minute left on it on the map right now.
Right outside of the Roche pit here, scouting out that invisibility rune. I reckon somebody will want to get those wards down sooner rather than later.
His top towers taking hits.
Joining his buddy Centaur, I guess, the fourth top out and hopefully survive the onslaught after initiating. Centaur very close to level 16 as well, and makes that Stampede a little more potent, but most importantly lowers that cooldown, so he'll have it up pretty much every time that he needs it. Top lane, Silent, someone from Alliance will overstep their bounds, maybe Bulldog will blink forward or something looking for a kill, and they can turn it around, but they will not fall for the bait, and Silent will just move into the tree line here.
In bad shape.
Now maybe they'll bait with the Tinker instead. Razor will pick up his Ag Scepter. It does help him tank up a little bit, but Chessie just, I don't know, hasn't been able to really have that huge impact that we often see with Razors when they go for that extra pressure build and they just knock towers down left and right.
Radiant's top towers taking hits.
Empire are really just going in blind against this one, though. I'm kind of surprised at how aggressive they're being, considering they have absolutely no vision during the nighttime. They don't know what's lurking around any corner, and it could be very dangerous. I guess they're hesitant to drop the Observer Wards in plain sight because of the Geometry sight that's on Alliance, but even then, you have to see things. When you're being this active, you have to see it coming. You have to be able to maneuver against it. Fortunately for them, Alliance is being very transparent in their objectives. They're going for this tree.
Yep, and it will be a successful push, it looks like. The glyph comes out, Chessie with the Eye of the Storm laying into the tower, and it will fall uncontested. They will instead make a hole for the high ground, and Alliance will not to the base. So anything a tier 2 tower for free on the side of Alliance, more.
But now they do at least have a very nice ward up here. It's unlikely that Sven's aggressive ward is going to allow Tinker to continuously just go on this western front inside these trees and pretty much have no care in the world. If he sees a low HP enough target, then he'll go for the Dagon Blade combo, but otherwise the March spam just continues.
Yep, and still on just a level 2 Dagon, but now 2,500 gold up on him, so getting to that point where you need to pull for buyback, and we'll start to upgrade that Dagon slowly but surely. Silent with another 2,500 gold up on him as well. MKB still the last item that he grabbed. Centaur on his way to a BKB. And oh, we already saw Resolution here. It looks like they're angling around the Roche Pit. Zidge is now level 11 and does have the Ag Scepter, or pardon me, the Ogre Club. So only 1,800 off the Ag Scepter, but at least has the 2 tanky components, so he will have a slightly larger HP pool to play around with.
So, really Alliance need to make something happen very shortly. The game goes to 40 minutes and there's very small chances of them actually picking up the pieces. Obviously, we've seen Bulldog rat his way out of worse situations, but even still, the entire point is for them to be able to beat out the damage from the Tinker, but on top of that, now they're worrying about the Earthshaker, the Gyrocopter is getting pretty huge, and I don't think Warcry Pipe is going to be enough in a very short span of time.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it will be either. Since they picked up the pipe, they haven't really been able to do much
nice
with it.
snipe down bottom. They get both familiars, and those are still on cooldown for 30 more seconds.
Yep, nice little 200 gold bounty going the way of Alliance, and I think more importantly, stopping Resolution from having those easy TP targets. But Silent and Resolution are in pretty deep right now for commit, and Give a Gag could commence. Blink Dagger and Stampede at the ready. He does get pinged out. They have a little bit of vision of him here. And with that, Alliance will just back out and avoid getting jumped upon by Mr. Centaur.
Yeah. I actually really love Empire's essentially, we already talked about the one that's on top lane that can't be really scouted because the Sven doesn't have any reason to be there, but look at this one right here. You don't see that in any way walking by. You have to, like, have somebody, I don't even know, like, you have to have clear vision, essentially, to see that.
Fly the courier overhead or have a Storm Spirit eat the trees just randomly. Take a fight there and have the Macro Pyre do a little deforestation. Basically, just luck. It's the only way you're going to find that ward, I think.
Yeah. And that's a pretty common path to take to try to contest Roshan and things of that nature, so it still gives them some good information and no cost to themselves. We hear BKB come out, lets him be silent, and he gets caught inside the sprout, but again, just keeping away with it. That's the 3rd time he's used it that way, and maybe at this time at the cost of mag? No. 4 staff, Stampede, so cooldown, but not the longest one, so he'll be able to just skedaddle on out of there. However, Admiral Bulldog has been farming quite significantly. I will spend a hefty sum of gold here, but we'll pick up the Scythe of Ice and
semi-carry. The right clicks are with the Maelstrom. He does rather fast, hitting for over 200 a pop with quite a bit of utility, the Silence and the Hex as well. So smoke up and rotate the Dagger now to go with his BKB. So he is also hasted up. He's in the front lines looking for the initiation. We will see Empire into the Roche Pit, and good timing from the perspective of a couple of seconds. Empire will try to lead his in. Death Ward fly, mag fall, Chessie loses his BKB, and he will fall as Misery throws a stun. Or really, Bulldog hops forward and does finish him off. Great, not looking so hot for Empire. Now Solo in the front lines, will get caught in the ice path. Make it a 1-for-4. Now there's a buyback on the... And Empire will continue to contest Roshan.
Very well-timed engagement from Alliance and getting everything they needed out of it. Their abilities over it, like the Death Ward, still hitting really... Empire like Dagon, but the pipe really late in the fight. So, all in all, great focus fire.
A little surprised that Silent ball
the fight by just juicing up at the fountain. Yeah, they probably will, and it's CD.
Yeah, so just glancing at the graphs, a big swing of momentum back into this long stalemate here. But they're still not at it for Dagon up on still plenty of gold for Biden. Even Gyrocopter on a Butterfly has that value evasion piece here because there isn't natural MKB carrier. I guess Bulldog makes the most sense for it to land the right clicks, but all things considered, that evasion will really help him out here again, as well as the Razor, who will be commencing some physical attacks.
Yeah, the Razor really isn't a strong position, though. Like you said, Bulldog's kind of got it more on his shoulders than anything else because, oh, okay, nice little pick off on the Earthshaker there, jumping in, stunning it out, and of course, Sheepstick, a great initiation tool on any hero with a Blink Dagger, but in particular one with a global move.
Maybe fighting off Origin, shooting at her. Centaur goes down, now Resolution on the back foot, Macro Pirate goes out. But Resolution will be in some trouble here. TP towards the mid lane. Resolution dropping the hammer onto Chessie, doing a lot of damage, but the Eye of the Storm is just too much. Even a Maledict coming out. They'll find Tinker, and it's a double for Chessie. Oh, it's like Empire were going to start to take this game, but all of a sudden, they're losing all of their footing here, and that's a 3-for-0 exchange across the map, and Alliance will move right into the road pit. And it should fall uncontested. Empire just simply don't have the resources to move in and stop this.
Yeah, nice pick off there, and the fact that they committed so hard to that mid lane fight after not having the Earthshaker able to contribute, and the fact that the Pipe is still doing wonders against the Tinker, even though he's about to hit up Dagon 5. It's just keeping Alliance in it, it's keeping them fighting, and now they even have the Refresher Orb on the Razor. Now, he isn't the Aegis carrier in this case. They did give it to the Sven, and I kind of find that to be an interesting decision, but of course, Chessie wasn't really positioned to claim that.
Yeah, a lot of Silent in some trouble here. He will get hexed up, silenced up, and just followed the crowd controls of old Mr. Bulldog there. And they'll find another free kill on Silent. A long respawn timer on him as his last death was followed up by a buyback there. But I did want to comment on the Sven. This is another one of these kind of games where even though Sven started as a support, he's got enough farm now that he can kind of turn into a carry. Just the BKB blink alone is enough to make him kind of scary when he pops that God Strength down in the bottom lane. Solo blinks forward, connects with the dunk. Mag comes in as well, but he pops the BKB. Here the market wants through. No Blink Dagger for you. They've got more than enough first to bring him down before Alliance can react. And now it's Empire that finds the freeze, and Aegis wasted.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate losing twice over. Now Mag trying to jump onto Bulldog, but too quick with the blink. He isn't even afflicted by the Stampedes. In a really good position to just disengage in full, but I guess with the Gyrocopter down for full 40, no buyback. They seem to force it. They say, okay, the Sven, he's nice, but unnecessary.
Oh, Bulldog takes a lot of burst damage there. The gem hits the deck, but nobody picks it up because can't survive the wrath of the Raid Bulldog. He can keep you right back in the fray. Power Ice Pad, connect on Solo. Glyph has already been used, and this tower's in some trouble. Resolution gets picked off now. Got to look at the buyback. Sugar does not have it. He's gold. And this is what Alliance will wait for. 3 tower falls. The Glyph is not available, and this will be a dead lane of Rax. Chessie has the Eye of the Storm on. He's already used the dire side. Always want to fly. Will get caught out now. Takes a Maledict. He'll fall to the dots. Double kill now for the Bulldog. It's just Silent versus all 5 of Alliance. And they may lose more than one lane of Rax here. There was a gem still down, and it's still just sitting on the ground, but Alliance don't care. They'll just go straight for the base. Again, no glyphs, no buybacks.
You know
is this game here played? Is this actually it?
Potentially. I mean, the double Eye of the Storm just railed through the mid lane, so now on top they're trying to force Gyrocopter to overcommit. So if they can get him with a quick blink hex, then they can just pin him down and seal this one for good. But instead, Silent goes as safe a position as possible, which is outside his own base. And he knows that he can't defend the top lane, and actually he's going to get TP'd on this, which is dangerous even here.
Yep, Bulldog moves into the tree line, Sprout, and will blink forward. Does find the Hex, finds the Silence, then reserves the stun. See ya, Silent. And that's a dead Gyrocopter. The rest of Empire starting to come up, but with him down, they know he doesn't have a buyback. They'll be able to press forward. No gyro, no glyph. This is bad news bears for Empire. They are one lane of Rax away from Mega Creeps, and that will certainly be their demise. Misery in the front lines. Tier 3 tower goes down. Hop forward now. This is it. It's now or never. E-Blade. Follow-up just isn't there. Pipe gets deployed. And Stampede is ready, but even if Alliance gets wiped up here. Dota on the back foot now. Mag trying to chase the Bulldog. They're struggling to find kills here. They will pick off the Prophet as well as the Witch Doctor. Dota will probably fall on Fissure to bring him down. And a small consolation. But their base is in shambles, and that'll be it. Empire just taps out.
Solo was trying to get that slam the entire friggin' fight, but they piped at one point, they split up the rest.
Look at that experience graph. Oh my god.
Wow.
Even, way in favor of Empire, and then all of a sudden Alliance just come back with it. What a game. It seemed like Empire was really going to be able to take it, but it was just that series of pickoff is what did it for Empire. Silent bought back, didn't, and then when he needed it in that next team fight, he was stuck in the grave, and the rest of Empire couldn't do enough damage without him. They kind of got picked off one at a time, and by the time Silent respawned, that was it. The base was already crippled.
Yeah, he spent so much time in that western tree line that I really don't know exactly what he was expecting to accomplish, especially with buyback off cooldown. That was a critical